All right, we're back. My Wi-Fi is down. Shout out Spectrum, I guess. But we still have to keep it pushing. So today's story, kind of wild, but so as a nigga myself, I personally hate any interactions involving 12. So I try to avoid them at all costs. But I also like doing dumb shit. So it's kind of a paradox. And today's story is yet another example of this. Now, for potentially legal reasons, this is all alleged and made up and not real, and I never ever in my life would do any of this because I'm a good boy who doesn't do bad things. So this shit starts sometime during the second semester of my first year of college, and around this time I had just started getting into tagging a couple of spots around the city after being inspired by the GOAT, the God Orbis Ignis. If you're ever in a, you've definitely either already seen or you're going to see Orbis's signature tag everywhere, bruh. Cause it's like it's just iconic. It's everywhere. And it's like this skull with swirly eyes, and it's usually like done in one stroke, and it has like a cross on the forehead, no 21. And so I kept seeing this everywhere, and shit was just so cool to me. I ended up like trying to collect pictures of them so I can make like compilations on TikTok. Like literally it got to the point where like my friends would start sending me pictures that they would like find around because like this shit was just so iconic. And I had no idea if it was like a group of people, if it was one person, and there were like rumors and myths about the legend of Orbis. Like some people told me it was like a group of people, like it's a whole collective. Others told me it was just one guy. My homie apparently was either roommates with him or was friends with somebody who was roommates with him, and like he said that like he would just go outside at like 4 a.m., whole kit, whole tagging gear, just ready to go. That shit was wild to me. I was like inspired, and I just kept getting more and more inspired, and I was like, all right, fuck it, why don't I try my hand at tagging? And one of my roommates was like, hell yeah. And it turns out he also had some tagging days. So flash forward, I end up getting some spray paint, and I'm like, fuck it, let me start tagging. Mind you, this is all alleged and mythical and hypothetical. So I end up asking my roommate, who had a history of tagging in his local area and shit, to go with me. But he was like, nah, I don't know this city well enough yet. Like, what if 12 pulls up and like beats me up and arrests me and turns me into like a block of cheese? So I'm like, fine, I'll do it myself on some Thanos shit. You feel me? So I start walking around, and it's like almost midnight at this point, and I'm puffing on a little broccoli, listening to some Smino. Had some Smino in my ears, had some broccoli in my mouth, check the vocabulary, and I'm just trying to get the vibe right because I'm like low key paranoid because I'm like, damn, what if 12 runs up on me? But I'm like, no, I have to do this. Especially like in the area of the city like we lived in at that time, there were like tags everywhere. Like there's no way I would be the one person to get got for this. So I'm walking around, puffing on the broccoli, spray paint is ready to go, and then eventually I find my first target. And it's a whole like abandoned looking building with like a wall of other people's tags like around it. And these are like tags who are like low key like micro famous in the city. Like these tags are everywhere from a whole bunch of different people. And this building is like in such a weird spot because it's very obviously abandoned, but it's also right next to like other buildings on campus. I really hope I'm not exposing myself. I guess it doesn't really matter because this is all alleged, and like for the purposes of this video, none of this is real, and like it's all like not real and fake and like not real. So on this wall there's like 4 different Orbis skulls, and I'm like, yo, this is the real deal. If I get my shit on this wall, I'm there. Like I made it. Mind you, this is my first tag ever. So I start tagging my shit onto the wall, and it's a symbol like I'd been thinking of for a little bit while I was considering doing this. I want to tell you guys what it is so bad. I probably could, like it's probably not that big of a deal because this is all alleged, but we'll see. And so I started tagging my shit, and like literally my heart sank down to my ass cheeks. Like I felt like I had just broken like a seal. Like, I can really do this now. So now I feel way more comfortable. And I'm like, okay, cool. First tag is down. Like, I can do this. And I also have my big ass, juicy ass, inky Sharpie type marker thingy pen to get like street poles. You know those like Sharpie markers that like you shake it a bunch and then it like leaks ink and shit? So like I had that. There were hella tags on street poles and like smaller like things and stuff. So I was like, not only do I need spray paint, I also need like these markers. So I got one of those markers and I got hella poles too after this. The poles were like the least scary because I'm like, okay, this is a pole. Like this is really small. I can just like walk a little bit faster and like act like I wasn't doing this. But if I'm caught red-handed while like spray painting a whole ass wall, that's completely different in my eyes. So I start walking around, I'm looking for my next target, and then I noticed that like all of that pole shit that I was doing, all of the tagging I was doing on those poles, some of the walls I had gotten was right next to this cop car that was patrolling. And at this point, my heart starts beating fast as and I gotta turn the Smino off. I was scared and I started super power walking. The blue light was on too, but it wasn't like strobing. So I was like, okay, it really is just patrol. And I'm like, nah, I gotta go back to the crib. This is a sign. This is not right. Something is not right. And I pack up feeling paranoid as shit. And I'm like, are these niggas gonna track me down? Are they gonna find me? Eventually, days passed and everything turned out to be fine because Atlanta police have, ooh, you know what? It's not that deep. I can say what city this is. I mean, I already said Orbis anyway. But everything turned out to be fine because Atlanta police have way bigger fish to fry than a nigga tagging. And I'm hoping like dude just didn't see me at all. But even if he did, I mean like dude, like niggas is dying. Like what are you doing with me? And I definitely, allegedly, perhaps mythically, did go tagging again after this. But I went with the homie, so it was way less tense. Way better vibe. Much, much, much better vibe. If you're gonna do this, well, don't try any of this at home. But if you do, bring a friend. And record that shit, nigga. Welcome to the garden, you gon' have to pardon me. It's a sad story, chocolate hit my homie artery. Just a week later, family won the fucking lottery. Kinda sick story, what the fuck they tryna plot on me? Welcome to the garden.